What you know about the Young Entrepreneurs Institute? Yeah. Okay, that's Mr. Greg Malcolm right here. And I got Mr. Ethan Holmes right here. How you doing, guys?
Hey.
Thank you for coming on board.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Greg, you have your guy Ethan here with you. He's an entrepreneur, young businessman. First of all, Ethan, how old are you, man, if you don't mind me asking?
Definitely. I'm 26 years old.
26. Could be into all kind of stuff right now, you know. You don't have to have a business right now. He can still think he got time. You know, he can still think he has time, but he recognized that there's not a lot of time to play with here. You know, I commend you, Ethan, to be focused and sharp as you are at the age you are. I commend you.
But he started, when did you start?
I started when I was 15 years old.
Started when you were 15.
Exactly, yep. And thanks to organizations like Young Entrepreneur Institute, I'm here today. So.
Well, you look like a progressive young man.
Thank
you know what I mean? You don't look like a lazy son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look like you really want something out of life.
Thank you.
You know, and, you know, perusing your social media, coming across your business, I'm very impressed. Applesauce. How did it come about that you wanted to get into that business?
So my grandfather actually showed me how to make applesauce, and I said, you know,
big shout to Granddad, passing that down, baby.
Definitely, he's still alive to this day.
Still alive.
Yep. So he's in his almost 90 years old now.
Oh, he's really proud of you. Really proud of you.
Great guy. Yep. Thank you. And so he showed me how to make the product. I said, okay, well I can, you know, innovate.
So you at 15?
At 15 years old. After I asked him, hey, could you show me how to make applesauce? I want to learn how to make this product. I think I could sell it. I think I could do something with it. Wow. He lived with us. He's retired. So he said, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. Show me how to peel the fruit. And from there, I said, you know what? Let me work on this for a year. Let me try new pieces of fruit. Let me make my own recipe. And from there, I, you know, created Holmes mouthwatering applesauce. And,
yeah.
Yep.
Now, I love applesauce. I got it, you know, I like it with my toast and breakfast and things of that nature. You know, it's also good for babies.
Exactly. Great for infants, newborns, all of that, young children. So.
What made your recipe different from your granddad's?
So what we use in our product to this day is Golden Delicious Apples, which is a great apple. It's great for creating apple pie or applesauce just for baking. And then we use pears, a Bartlett pear, and we cook everything in apple cider. So we add no water, no added sugar, no corn syrup, any of those. So,
yeah, sounds very nutritious.
And then we always keep our consistency very chunky so you get real pieces of fruit in each bite. You know, we don't want to give you any baby food consistency. We want to give you a real
So
product.
You are already at market.
Correct.
And selling applesauce.
Correct.
What you know about that? Are you all over the country with it, or is it in select places?
So we're in about 6 states, but primarily in Ohio. We sell at about 300 retailers to this day. And so right now, Heinen's, Mark's, Dave's, just naming some locals, Whole Foods, Kroger, and more. So
where was your first production site, and is it still operating today?
Definitely. So our first production site is actually the Cleveland Culinary Launch Kitchen, or the Central Kitchen. Any viewers can actually look it up, and it's right on Euclid, 2800 Euclid, where we started at, and we would rent the facility for about $12 an hour and produce. And you can rent this facility for that cheap, and you can come and go as you need.
Y'all hear that? Y'all need to soak that up.
Mm-hmm.
Soak up this game.
Soak up this game, baby. That's hot.
Thank
Now,
you.
who encouraged you to take advantage of that right there?
It was actually my mother. My mother was a big part of my story, just supporting me and sometimes telling me, hey, you know, you shouldn't do this, and I kind of going against it. You know, I had to learn a little bit. But my mother showed me about the kitchen, took me down there, had a tour, and I said, wow, they'll actually teach me how to get my product in stores and how to get it up and running.
Now, Greg, when you got hip to Ethan and what he got going on, you know, how did it present itself? Did it come you guys needing help, or you found out about it?
I don't even remember how we met, actually.
You know, I don't know how we, I mean, it's been a long time.
A long time.
When he was in high school, you know, probably 15, 16, when you were first starting out.
5 years ago.
We have a program called Young Entrepreneur Markets, where we've made agreements with every farmer's market in Northeast Ohio, Winterfest, any place where there's lots of adults, we rent space for kids. And so we have the tent, the tables, the chairs, and if a kid has a business, it's free to the kid to come in and at Shaker Square, Cracker Park.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I realized that.
And
That's big, Greg. That's big.
Yeah, and that's just one of our programs, and I'm guessing maybe that's how we got.
May have been one of those markets. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it was like a farmer's market set up, and you were able to come and showcase your product.
Correct.
And then you got hip to the entrepreneurs. You figured they may be able to scale your business up, or what?
Yeah, and I'll even speak just briefly. Young Entrepreneur Institute, they're a big part of my story, especially Greg here. He really is just somebody who really helps people. I mean, an angel to the community, and I mean that from me, and I really mean that, Greg. Just because
Thank you.
Damon John from Shark Tank, actually, I think that's where it came from. Damon John from Shark Tank, he actually came to Cleveland. They hosted him at a presentation, and they had me be the host or the moderator for that, allowed me to speak with him. And so they just gave me those kind of opportunities. Hey, Ethan, do you want to host Damon John? Do you want to do this?
Tell me this, Ethan. What did Damon think of your business and your platform?
Damon, actually, I just had dinner with him maybe about 3 months ago in Houston.
Oh!
So,
That's the owner of food, right?
Previous, yeah.
And,
exactly,
Shark Tank,
Shark Tank,
putting people on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's definitely had very encouraging words. He's kind of been a mentor.
Did he tell you anything that you hadn't heard thus far that resonated with you and stuck with you?
Yeah, definitely. With his story, what he said is you really just have to, don't spread yourself too thin when you're as an entrepreneur. So if you do applesauce, stick to applesauce.
Did he taste your applesauce?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, did he like it?
He enjoyed it.
Greg, did you taste the applesauce?
I have had his applesauce. It's outstanding.
Outstanding. You got cinnamon in it, don't
Yeah,
you?
so we got an apple pie, cinnamon, and then we have original and a strawberry peach.
Right.
Yep, definitely.
So, Greg, what did you, as an organization, exactly do with Ethan to help him grow as an entrepreneur and a businessman?
Well, we do a variety of things, and part of it is just giving them an opportunity, like the venues, like the Entrepreneur Market, giving them opportunities at events like we have an event called Celebrate Youth Entrepreneurship, where we bring in about 1,000 kids to hear inspiring speakers. That was Damon John. He came in, and we gave Ethan an opportunity. At that point, he was already a mature entrepreneur, and that was, I think you were maybe 19 at that time. I mean, he was still a teenager, and had him on stage with Damon John, and that's how they got connected. And, it's finding opportunities to support kids wherever they're at, and Ethan is a particularly sophisticated young man and had a lot of focus and ability. And I have to return the compliment about Ethan. He has given back so much to the community. He's gone, I don't know how many speaking events you've done so far.
Just with you guys, at least maybe up to 20 or 30.
Wow.
So he goes into classrooms.
Working, man.
Exactly, giving back to the community. I mean, he's, I think, gotten a lot from the community, but he's also given back a lot to the community. And he's got a great story about perseverance. Tell him a story. I mean, how many times did you have to call the buyer at Heinen's?
It took several calls. It took over a year and a half to get him to say yes. And, I was in college at that time at Hiram College, sophomore, just trying to figure out what to do with my life. But I knew I wanted to stay in entrepreneurship. I just didn't know how to get it going and up and running. And thanks to organizations like you mentioned, Jumpstart, who we work with to this day, Young Entrepreneur Institute, as well as Cozy, I was able to raise capital through business competitions.
What's Cozy?
Council of Smaller Enterprises, right in downtown Cleveland. And they host business competitions. They gave me a platform to present and pitch my product. And from there, I was able to win grant money and put that into my business model.
Oh, I think you got a question, Ethan. Great.
Was it for Ethan, was it the applesauce that created the entrepreneur, or was it always in you to be an entrepreneur? What was it that gave you the niche to become self inflicted to do something for yourself?
Definitely, and I think the number one thing, and this is something I would always tell the youth, the most power you can have, specifically as an adult as you're growing, is owning something, having ownership of something. So I knew I wanted to create something that was mine, and I wanted to put all my energy into that. And you're either working for someone else's dream or you're working for your own.
Right.
And so it's fine to work for someone else's dream if it fits within your realm, but I really wanted to go out and create something.
Oh!
Bring it to the market.
That's called bossing up.
Exactly.
If I could pick up on that, actually, because ownership is really central to what the philosophy of my organization. So we focus on kids in kindergarten through 12th grade. So Ethan is a graduate.
Okay.
So we don't really work with, I mean, he actually works with us. Yeah, he's out of here, right?
Yeah. He phasing out, but you know, he created a lane for those underneath him.
Yeah. But you know, not every kid is going to be an entrepreneur. Not every, you know, but taking ownership of your life.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is, I think, universal.
Greg, it seems like your passion, I don't mean to cut you, it seems like your passion is there, like it's deeper than just, you know, business. It's like you really want to bring change in people's lives.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that the entrepreneurial mindset is essential to life in the 21st and 22nd century. You know, kids, when I was young, I'm an older man, when I was young, you know, when you got out of high school, college, you worked for the same company for your whole life. That was typical. Then you had a pension, right? You were taken care of. Kids today, they are not going to work for the same place. They're going to have 8, 10 jobs. They need to take ownership. It's like the concept of CEO of self, right? They need to take ownership, and we believe, well, and just self, you know, independent. You've got to be, even if you're working for somebody else, you still have to take ownership of your life, take responsibility for your actions. I think your former speaker would probably agree with me that you got to take responsibility for yourself, and I think entrepreneurial experiences and activities teach that ownership.
Yeah, give you that pause. Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back a minute with the Young Entrepreneurs Institute and Ethan Holmes. We back, Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the hood, doing it really, really big. I'm right here with Greg Malkin of Young Entrepreneurs Institute, and I'm also here with Mr. Ethan Holmes of Holmes Mouthwatering Applesauce. Now, how long has the Youth Entrepreneur Institute been in existence?
So I founded the organization in 2005, and
you founded the organization?
Yes.
No organization?
Yes.
You know what? I was going to ask that question, but it seemed real evident about a few minutes into the interview because of your passion.
Yeah. Well, I've been an entrepreneur, what's called a serial entrepreneur. I had my first business when I was 19. Wow. I've had a whole series of businesses in the commercial space. Sold my last company to a public company in 2000, retired for a couple of years, and really wanted to give back. And I felt that entrepreneurship changed my life, and I wanted to give, and obviously I'm very passionate about it. Yeah. And I wanted to share that passion with the next generation for people like Ethan, and for those kids, again, who may not want to be an entrepreneur, but first of all, need to understand how business works, and just have those experiences. So we call it our ignition statement. It's not a mission statement. It's an ignition statement that every child should understand and experience entrepreneurship.
Yeah, real talk. I mean, at an early age, too. You know, we don't need to be hearing about it when we turn 19 and 20. We need to hear, like, how Ethan got, exposed at an early age. Granddad said, hey, boy, peel them apples.
But what's even most important is actually having resources that allow you to even actually do this.
Yeah.
You could be 12 and say, I want to do this, but if you don't have a platform to sell your items, then it goes nowhere.
That's true.
And they give you these free resources for the youth, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's the other thing I should say that I want to do a shout out to the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, the Jennings Foundation, the Nordson Foundation, the Mott Foundation, are our major funders, because everything we do is free to the teachers and the kids. So it's all funded through foundation grants, so that we really want to drop those barriers to entry. We do a lot of work with schools. We have a major conference coming up. It's the largest entrepreneurship education conference in the country. This coming weekend, Enspire with an E.
And where is that going to be?
Lander Haven in Mayfield Heights.
Okay.
And we've got 750 teachers, mostly from Northeast Ohio, coming, where they'll learn about how to share and teach kids about entrepreneurship.
Well, you got a question?
I got a question. Because, like you were saying, the turnaround on jobs is very great now in the new millennium. And so you might work a job for like 3 years, and then a turnover, you're going to work another job and another job. So was it hard for the schools to really understand your vision about entrepreneurship, and that's why it's not a curriculum in the actual schools, and that's why you came with the Young Entrepreneurs Institute yourself?
That is actually a great question, because typically when people think of entrepreneurship education, they think of business, accounting and marketing and things like that. We think it needs to be more broadly in the curriculum. So I'll give you an example. I'm wearing our Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge T-shirt. We have a competition going on right now for Northeast Ohio kids. We've been doing it for about 6 years. Last year we had about 1,500 kids do it, where they come up with an idea and then pitch it. Like Shark Tank, except they don't actually have to start the business. They just have to have an idea, put together a 60-second pitch. And the reason we think that's a universal skill, when you look for a job and you're interviewing for the job, the person interviewing says, so tell me about yourself. The answer to that question, tell me about yourself, is your pitch.
Yeah.
And what you're selling is yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can't sell yourself, you're at a disadvantage. That is a universal skill, and that's not something that is just for entrepreneurs, and it's something that some kid in high school, you go for that first job, you need to convince that person to hire you. That's your pitch. And so we do this Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge competition. It's open to all kids. You can go to our website, youngentrepreneur.pitchchallenge.com or youngentrepreneurinstitute.org, and enter. And we've got great prizes: Coca-Cola products. Best Buy has provided some electronics, cash for the kids. Yeah.
Right. Working with kids pitching ideas where they don't even have to actually do it, because everybody can come up with something. I bet you hear a lot of like ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, we do. I will say the one of the winners of young man middle school, was actually one of my favorite idea. It was personalized theme songs, and for $9.95. You tell him a little bit about yourself, and he would write you essentially a 15-second theme song for you. I thought that was a brilliant idea, isn't it?
How old was the game? Middle school?
Yeah. Your personal theme song. And, most adults say, wow, I want my own theme song for $10. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Now, Greg, you doing this for young entrepreneurs, and, everybody got family. What about those in your own family that just don't have the same drive as the youth you're working with? Does that bother you?
No, because I think the kids can be models for their parents and other parts of the family. The other thing I should mention is a lot of people get hung up on the word entrepreneur. When they hear the word entrepreneur, they're thinking Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and things like that. And so when I talk to kids and say, how many of you are entrepreneurs? Maybe one or two will raise their hand. When I ask the kids, okay, how many of you have a side hustle? Half the kids raise their hand. And a side hustle, that's just being an entrepreneur. Well, because that's an entrepreneur. Somebody with a side hustle is an entrepreneur. And so, some of it is just the language, and getting them to realize that they're in fact doing it. They're selling candy out of their locker. They're selling sneakers. That's entrepreneurship.
Now, you mentioned you've had several businesses. And is there any one constant that you learned throughout the years that you like to pass down to the people that you work with?
Yeah, I think the first thing is passion for what you're doing, right? And I think Ethan has real passion for what he does. The other thing that I think people misunderstand about business, I think to really be successful, business is all about helping people. That's really what it's about. And if you have that attitude that what I'm doing, whatever the product is, whether it's life insurance or applesauce, I was in the computer software business, or now what I'm doing now, if you have the attitude, my customers, I'm really there to help them. I'm not there to make money off them. I'm there to help them. Ethan's out there, and his applesauce is a great example. He's out there to give nutritious food to kids of all and adults of all ages, right? I mean, that's what you're about. He's really passionate about that, about helping people have a nutritional diet and life. And
when you do that, sometimes it opens doors that you didn't even know were there for money opportunities. We've given applesauce to free clinics, MedWorks, a clinic that provides free health services for people in Cleveland. They went back the following week and said, hey, we actually want to buy about $500 worth of product from you.
Wow.
So,
after giving them, donating to them,
exactly.
they turn around and support it.
We want to give this to our backers and our donors. So just, that's just how it works in this business for sure.
Right. Now, you got a whole team that help you reach out to these buyers around the country that want to get your product in their place. Or, are you running a little tight ship?
It's a tight ship. So it was actually usually myself doing a lot of the sales, and then I brought in partners, friends from high school I've hired to actually hire a guy, full-time employee.
Man, how real is that?
What do your friends from high school think?
They kind of, I remember telling one of my buddies, and they laughed at me and said, applesauce, you're too stupid to make applesauce. You're a class clown, you're kind of funny, Ethan, but you're not an entrepreneur. Or this is a stupid concept. It's applesauce.
Eat your heart out!
Exactly. But
hold on, Ethan, if you were like that, what made you buckle down and say, you know what, I'm not going to play with my life? I can laugh and joke with the best of them, and I can be smooth and laid back, but I am dead serious about, furthering what I got going on.
I guess the rejection from them and just hearing, even my mom, she's very heavy on education, which is great because education is needed, but I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And so everybody telling me to go one way, that's just not my personality. I'll go the other way. Yeah. And I just stuck with it. And I think that's the number one thing I teach the youth, stick with it and start it. Doesn't matter if it's an idea because you'll give up on it after a month, but if you stick with it and just keep working at it, even if it's one day a week, it'll grow into something.
Do you have your own family yet?
I have a newborn, a son on the way actually right now, due in February. I have a girlfriend in about 7 years, so hopefully we get married soon.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, girlfriend of 7 years. That's wifey.
But
that's pretty good.
As an entrepreneur, you live kind of an unorthodox lifestyle, so I haven't had a chance to get married. And so if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you're doing it for money, don't do it for money because it doesn't pay well at first. It takes several years to actually pay yourself, a fair market salary.
Well, what kept you enthusiastic and believing in what you got going on through the struggle?
People like Young Entrepreneurs Institute, times when I've been down and they said, hey, we have an opportunity for you, helping the youth and just saying, hey, this is something I committed to, so I want to see it through. And I want to see it successful and grow into something. Yeah. So that's really, I see value in what I'm doing. I believe in it, so.
I know you're making it happen regardless to what. Is there any particular chains that you would love to work with?
Right now, we're actually working with a group of case students, and they have a program where they're actually assisting us with our business model. And we've actually just had this conversation today, and we're looking at more premium accounts right now. So Whole Foods, we're already in about 5-6 Whole Foods throughout Ohio.
Oh, you're already in Whole Foods. I appreciate it. Hey, first, hold on. Whole Foods just ain't letting you, they just ain't buying your stuff like that. Right. They sent you through one heck of a vetting process?
It was definitely a tough process. Took a long time, I can say that. It wasn't as tough as you would think.
It was just more time consuming?
Our product fits really aligns with their values, so it was a pretty easy.
That's what they wanted to make sure that it fits?
Exactly. But the hardest issue is kind of expanding past local. And so we have an opportunity to actually expand to the Midwest. So that would be every store in the Midwest. But they have a very kind of tough process. They want you to do certain certifications, and then they want you to hit certain movement in stores. like a certain rate per week in order to justify that. So we're working towards those things right now.
Ah, that's big. That's really huge.
But yeah, and just to finish up, wrap it up a little bit, I've done a lot of the sales, and just he was speaking about a lot of no's. What we'll really do, and this is advice for anybody, just make a spreadsheet of every single store you want. Find out who's the person to talk to, whether you got to call the operator, and just bug them. I mean, I call people 4 or 5 times in a week. I set an alarm on my phone, you know, and then I'd email them and just stay on them, get them the samples, and keep following up. Eventually, they'll be like, hey, you know, actually, Mark Supermarkets, the guy said no twice, and the third time he said, Ethan, you're kind of like a toothache because you don't go away. So you know what, I'm going to give you a chance. We'll put you in 60 stores. And so sometimes that's just what it takes. So that's my advice.
Well, if people want to buy directly from you, can they do that too?
Yeah, so if you go to homesapplesauce.com, you can order the product online, free shipping. So.
Oh, that's big. Now, real quick, Greg, you know, plug the Young Entrepreneurs Institute. You know, tell us, you know, how they can become a part of the programs that you got going on and where they can find you and reach you.
Yeah, it's youngentrepreneurinstitute.org. youngentrepreneurinstitute.org. You can also just Google that. We come up on first or second if you just Google Young Entrepreneur Cleveland. Look for our Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge. If you're a teacher out there, we'd love to have you at our Enspire conference. It's a conference for educators. We have a special program with the Cleveland Teachers Union. It's free to come to the conference. And that's Enspire with an E, inspireconference.com. And talk to your teacher if you're in school, and because we work mostly with schools and organizations, after school, Girl Scouts, Junior Achievement, Boys and Girls Clubs, Boys Hope, Girls Hope, lots of faith-based organizations we work with. So we work more with organizations as opposed to working directly with the kids.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, thank you, Greg. I really appreciate that. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
And hats off to you, too, Ethan. Yo.